A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to Aftersought, and welcome to the ultra-sized segment of this series itself. Say hello to the Ultra 4. Now, what I can say personally about the Ultra lineup itself is that, well, unlike many others, where they think it's a piece of crap, I will say that the Ultra lineup, because of how big it's been getting so far this whole year itself, and as a matter of fact, it has been at least one full year already since it was first released into the marketplace throughout the States, but the Ultra lineup, aside from the fact that it currently has 10 blasters in it, I will say that maybe there probably is something strangely different. Aside from the new darts that we pretty much have here, which they have themselves a new foam construction to them that makes them very rigid, strong, and potentially waterproof as well. I will say that not everybody's a winner here when it comes to the Ultra lineup in general. I will say for sure that the Ultra lineup has a lot of different quirks on them, including higher performance, a large variety of blasters to choose from, at least by today's standards, and not to mention, they're really starting to put their efforts into the Ultra lineup itself because, well, listen to this. That loud pop right there is just one sign that this blaster right here, the Ultra 4, if you will, this is the fourth blaster that was pretty much in the series. But of course, this blaster pretty much unveiled at the same time as the Ultra 5 did. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about that some other time, but anyways. These proprietary darts right here kind of lead me to question, has Hasbro actually lied to us about the Ultra lineup itself? Because if you're not familiar with user Lord Draconical on YouTube, then well, let me patch you through. Drac has claimed that the Ultra 1, when it first came out last October in 2019, it was a huge mistake. And since then, there has been quite a few gripes that Drac has decided to register against Hasbro, specifically towards the lineup itself, for what it is. Just that kind of lineup itself. A new type of dart, a new type of blaster, and therefore a whole new lineup for a whole new generation to join in on. But I will say that maybe not everybody is thinking correctly on this whole thing itself. Although, one personal question I just need to ask. Drac Thalassa, the owner of the channel, of the state of Georgia, how have they lied to us? And I have actually tried to go ahead and ask Drac on that, but I've had no response back, so I'm only trying to find out, how has Hasbro lied about this? How has Hasbro lied about this? How has Hasbro lied about that? How has Hasbro lied about... How has Hasbro lied about that? And yeah, I could twirl this better than Drac can. Apparently, if you do it a certain way, it'll hurt your finger, but somehow it's not hurting mine, so I'd have to say maybe Drac's the one that lied to us, not Hasbro, when it comes to the Ultra lineup itself, because this blaster is pretty darn good for what it is. Though, that reminds me, one more test is still to be put into play. Yeah, an invisible bullet, designed for the Ultra blasters though, slightly more powerful and a bit heavier. Oh wow, what a big bang that was. Oddly enough, that was pretty powerful in and of itself, despite the fact that, well, this is in fact the 4, which is actually the most pistol-esque of any blaster that you could probably get. Although every other blaster in the Ultra lineup so far has had a lot of new introductions to the lineup itself. The 1, for example, is pretty much one that uses batteries, but it's also one to act more like an LMG with a drum magazine, as well as a dart storage in the stock. The Ultra 2 is pretty much the revolver type. The 3, from what we know so far, happens to be the shotgun with an integrated clip on it, and The 4, of course, is just the pistol with some storage on the bottom. And the 5 is pretty much the pistol with a knuckle duster-based handguard, along with an integrated clip similar to that of the Mega Magnus. And for every other blaster in the lineup, you probably could do the research yourself. There happens to be something that is taken from other concepts that Hasbro has previously worked on that they've interpreted into some of their new products in and of themselves. So basically, these are like exact copies of some blasters that we've already worked with. This kind of tries to act like the Night Finder because, well, what other blaster pretty much has storage for 2 darts in the bottom and 1 for the top barrel right here? And what other blaster, along with that, has this in the back? By anything I wish, it probably would be the Night Finder, Fire Strike, Inferno, or even the brand new Super Voltage. Yeah. They're all Night Finder based blasters out there, some of which are just pure copies or clones or whatnot, or they're just simply reskins made for different lineups. This one, I'd say, is no exception, especially because it works the same way as one. It has dart storage on the bottom, and of course, it fits 1 inside of its chamber. So that's pretty much all you can pretty much gauge out of this whole entire thing in general. But whether or not Lord Draconical was actually trying to give us the real truth, whether or not Hasbro was actually lying to us about the Ultra lineup, it's still going to be a mystery. Unless I get some answers here, I guess we'll never get very far with the Ultra lineup itself. So let's let it be known, simply put, that I am Jay Nowak. I'm looking for answers here while I talk about the Ultra lineup as it is. And just for science, let's go with one more. Oh, that almost hit me in the chest. Wow, okay. Well, anyways, I've still got a lot more that I would like to talk about here on Aftersought, but until then, there's really going to be a lot more that I might as well talk about elsewhere. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.